Hello guys, my name is Anna and I'm a Ukrainian, and I have decided I will vlog daily from my country Ukraine since the start of this awful war with Russia. And in my daily videos, I try to update you on the important real-life situation in my country Ukraine. And of course, I'm always glad to answer your questions and to clarify some facts from our history, our culture, our background, or whatever interests you. And today, when I walk and I think, I often recollect various stereotypes that Russians have about Ukrainians. So I have decided to speak in today's vlog about the mistakes that Russians committed in Ukraine. And I'm not going to talk about those tragic crimes that they commit daily, but about these misconceptions that led them into this war. And it definitely goes not according to Putin's plan and not according to the image of Russia as the second army in the world and now second army in Ukraine, second strongest army in Ukraine. And there are definitely lots of stereotypes that exist about different cultures, and sometimes they are not universal, like shared globally, but exist in a particular country or in a particular culture about the other culture. And it goes without saying that Russians perhaps rank top in the list of chauvinistic nations, because when there is one Russian, he or she always wants the rest to speak Russian and to treat Russian literature, history, culture as the most interesting and to talk about that and so on. So total disrespect to diversity, to minorities, to differences is one of the features of modern Russia, and the denial of other cultures, of other identities, of other interesting things in the countries that were once occupied by gloomy Soviet Union is one of the dominant features of modern Russian policy and politics. So, but these stereotypes that they built in their propaganda poisoned themselves, poisoned the brain of Putin and the brain of so many millions of Russians. And they started to believe their own images of Ukraine, and as a result got into this trap. I do understand that thousands of people die daily, and this is a tragedy, but I also understand that this war of Ukraine, this war of Russia inside Ukraine, because it's not a Ukrainian war, it is a Russian war in Ukraine, this war was a failure for Putin, and he lost this war the very first day he started it. Because for all the democratic, civilized world, and even for those sympathizers of Russia, big Asian countries, they realized that this war is a failure, and it led to so many diplomatic, political, economical, cultural problems of Russia that I believe even China, India, and other countries who had long history of relations with Russia, they cannot support them openly. Something they planned at the beginning of this war, if everything would have gone properly, but now they realize it's kind of totally wrong to support people who commit crimes against humanity, who kill thousands of innocent civilians. And of course, no one will openly support Russia. And I do believe the time when no one will secretly support Russia is also approaching. So what are these mistakes that Russians have in their heads about Ukrainians? Well, first of all, they believed we will meet them with flowers when they come to the cities of Ukraine. That's why they did not plan thoroughly this operation, and they believe that lots of cities, lots of people will meet them, and maybe even people in Kyiv will meet them with flowers. And we had this joke like that we can meet them with flowers, but you know, with those artificial flowers for graveyards. That is a very not eco-friendly tradition, and Ukrainians actually try to get rid of it, but very often on Ukrainian graveyards you will find artificial plastic or made of artificial fabric flowers. So these were actually the only flowers we were ready to meet Russian soldiers with, and I'm sure we met thousands of them with these funeral flowers. Then they believe that Ukrainians are cowards just as Russians. Yes, I am guilty maybe in your eyes, but I do think that Russians are cowards, because otherwise I cannot explain why less than 0.00 something Russians opposed this war. If millions opposed, they couldn't have kept this millions in prisons if that was a serious movement. And I don't believe that so many people like this mass matters. So they are cowards, and traditionally they are always afraid of this police services, various intelligence services, and when they have meetings and they see police arriving, they escape because they take them to автозакс, this cars, I don't know if it's the correct English, but there's huge cars where they pack people whom they arrest and take to prisons. Something similar happened in Ukraine when we had Yanukovych during Maidan revolution. Many people were beaten and taken to автозакс. But how did Ukrainians react? They surrounded this автозакс and started shaking them. And when they shook them enough, these cars will fall over. People did not leave there. I cannot say comrades because it sounds communist, but people were fighting even for those people they did not know. If they were together on protest, on revolution, they did not let this автозакс leave with people packed inside. They were beating the Berkut, various policemen. Why? Because there are more people. Millions, thousands of people were on the streets, and hundreds of servicemen were working against the people. So that's why we are not cowards. And when Ukrainian people saw Russian tanks, Russian soldiers on the streets of their villages and cities, they protested. They were throwing cocktails of Molotov, they were shooting if they had this opportunity, or they were even making jokes, they were taking videos. Some of civilians died in these protests against, it's difficult to oppose a tank, but people had so much bravery, so much hatred to these Russian orcs that they could not escape or stand silently. And they reacted, and this reaction was something that definitely surprised and terrified Russian soldiers too, and many of them were ready to escape. So this was the second mistake, believing that Ukrainians are cowards just as Russians do. Also, we do not obey blindly our government and our presidents, and I think this is a feature of the normal society, because the President Zelensky went on his campaign with this idea that he is a servant of the people. Of course, there are many, that was the title of his series that helped him a lot to win in this campaign, but they are actually the servants of the people. And we know that in Ukraine, that they work for our taxes. And this is what I see when I read the comments of my US subscribers. They often contact their senators or other representatives. I'm very grateful for that, because it does help to, keep attention on and maybe bring more weapons, or at least not to forget about this awful war happening right now online in my country. And this is similar in Ukraine. We are not fascinated with various deputies, presidents, and so on. We do not listen to them like sacred creatures. I would say that Ukrainians are more negative towards their presidents, ministers, prime ministers. It's more common for us to criticize them, even when they are normal, to analyze their private life, to analyze their money, to always look for corruption and find. But I cannot tell you that when you will have someone who is a deputy or who is a president or who is a minister, it's more common that people who meet him around him will look at him, oh, you're not ideal, you're not perfect, we don't like this or that. So we don't have this bowing behavior, and I think it's a sign of the normal, healthy society, because you don't have to worship leaders. Because if you worship leaders, they grew up in Putin and others and various Duchers, Führers, and all that other ugly species that mankind sometimes produces in really bad political environment. And this warship is definitely something dangerous and something you will never get in Ukraine. I think we are even maybe too negative towards towards our leaders and even President Zelensky. I'm not talking like in general. We definitely support him and we like him a lot, but we do not pray. We do not worship him. We see lots of mistakes that he does, and I think it's totally normal. This shows the health of the society. So if we don't like something about our government, our leader, we definitely either go out on the streets or write petitions or protest. And our government, our president already knows that, and very often they check the reaction of people. Like they put something in media, and when they see that reaction is totally negative, they, oh, we did not mean that, we did not plan that. It was just like that at the beginning with NATO status, you know, before Bucha, before Irpin, when no one saw this crimes and they were more eager to negotiate or something, they started talking that maybe NATO is not the direction for Ukraine, and people were very angry. People said, no, we want NATO, we have NATO in the constitution, what is happening? And very quickly Zelensky said, NATO, only NATO will save us, and now we do not speak about this, and we definitely see our future in NATO, and I do hope this day will come. So another greatest mistake and result of this war is that despite the fact that thousands of Ukrainians died in this war, and I'm afraid it will continue that way, I don't see that quick end for this war, but Ukrainians are only getting stronger. We have more hatred, and it is a very, I would say, healthy hatred. It's not destructive hatred. We don't want to kill Russian children, but we do want Russia to collapse. We do want Putin regime to fall. And this healthy hatred helps us to become stronger as a country, as a nation, and the support of our allies. So what do they get is just the country of what they wanted. They get stronger, militarized Ukraine that knows how important Ukrainian language, Ukrainian culture, Ukrainian identity is, who knows that we are interesting and important for the world, who knows that there are nations who will help and stand with us together in this war against evil. And we also managed to show this true face of Russia. It was not our intention. Russia did it by itself, but normal informational campaign and all these awful crimes that were recorded and shown due to this, even including modern technologies, they all showed the real face of Russia. And now I believe we cannot like re-seen it, close our eyes. And even those politicians who fed from Putin's hand, who were tolerant to Russia because of a number of factors, they cannot say, well, we cannot close our eyes after so many crimes. So taking into account all of these mistakes, that Ukrainians are not pro-Russian. That is a mistake of Putin. Even those who speak Russian because they were Russified during the USSR period, even those who don't know Ukrainian, they are not pro-Russian. They don't like Ruski Mir. They don't like what happened to Donbass after its occupation. They don't even like how Crimea turned from a beautiful resort into a military base. So even Russian-speaking Ukrainians are not pro-Russian. Nobody is pro-Russian now in Ukraine except maybe some spies. So also, we are not cowards. We do not blindly follow our leaders. We sometimes take control. We have very active civil society. And when you ask me questions about corruptions, I agree. Many countries have this problem. In post-Soviet countries, this is a serious problem. Of course, not to the extent it is in Russia or some other Asian countries, but it is a problem. But at the same time, what makes me believe everything is going to be fine is the fact that we have a very active civil society, a very attentive civil society that proved itself in volunteering in Maidan. So we are not cowards, we're able to control our leaders, and we are ready to do that. And now we are united more than ever before. So these are the main mistakes that Russian people made themselves believe in and started this war. And once again, a special message for Russian trolls who do entertain me with their boring messages in the comments is that we have already won this war on the very first day when Russia started it and showed its ugly face, and when Kyiv did not fall. Of course, we suffer daily. but we are also becoming a stronger nation. We'll learn so many things, and we don't have a chance, we don't have a right to fall, and the world won't let us to. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscriptions. They are extremely important as they help me grow the channel and inform more and more people about the situation in Ukraine and how we are winning this war. Thank you for coffees. And I love that I have patrons and people who support me in this vlog. And every day I feel more and more serious recording it. So thank you for being with me, and thank you for standing with Ukraine in this war. We will win, and we will win together. Slava Ukraini!